Students, in the last class we discussed about friction and types of friction. Now today we are going to discuss about the advantages of the friction. Okay, today we are going to discuss about the advantages of the friction. Okay, now the first advantage of the friction is, remember, we can walk on the floor because of friction. Clear, we can walk on the floor or we can run on the floor because of the friction. Okay, so the first advantage of the friction is we can walk, clear, we can walk or run on the floor or on the surface, clear, on the surface due to friction, clear, due to friction. Clear, so we can walk or run on the floor due to friction. So we can walk or run on the surface due to, or surface of the road or ground due to friction. The next point, uh, remember, to maintain the contact force between the two bodies, the frictional force must be required. Clear? For example, to maintain the contact force between the two bodies, if the two bodies are in contact, surely there will be frictional force. So frictional force is required for the two bodies which are in contact. Are you clear? Now remember, I am writing the second point. If two bodies are in contact or two bodies are in contact, clear, two bodies are in contact due to friction. Clear, two bodies are in contact due to atma friction. Okay. And third point, we can write, clear, we can write on the board or we can write on the paper with pencil or pen due to the friction only. Now remember, if you take a pencil, if you're writing something on the paper with the help of a pencil, clear, if you're writing something on the paper with the pencil, then what will happen means one layer of the graphite, clear, one layer of the graphite will remove from the pencil and it will stick to the paper. Clear, one layer will, remove from the pencil and it will stick to the paper. So two bodies are in contact due to friction. Okay, and one more thing, just now I wrote something, clear, just now I wrote something on the board, so you can see something on the board. This something can be written because of the friction between the pen as well as this board. Now remember, in order to erase this also we need friction. Clear? Now friction helps us to write on the board or paper. Clear? So it helps us to, might helps us to write on board or paper. Clear? It helps us to write on board or paper. And the next one, brakes are applied to the vehicles. Brakes are applied to the vehicles because of the friction between the brake shoes. Clear? Because of the friction between the brake shoes, the wheels of the vehicle will stop. Clear? Now remember, whenever the brakes are applied, due to the friction between the brake shoes, the vehicle gets stopped. Clear? Now remember, this is also one advantage to stop the vehicles. Clear? To stop the vehicles. Clear? To stop the vehicles, brake should be applied. Clear? Brake should be applied. Now, if you apply the brake, the vehicle stops. Clear? The vehicle stops because of the friction between the brake shoes. Clear? Brake should be applied. Then vehicle stops. Clear? Then vehicle stops due to friction between the brake shoes. Clear? Due to friction between the brake shoes. Clear? Due to friction between the brake shoes. Okay. The next point, the next point. For example, if you take a wheels, for example, if you take some engines, or if you take some motors, that motor is connected with the belt to the moving parts. For example, take our bike, to the bike, this is the motor of the bike, and let us consider this as the wheel, this as the wheel, which is fitted with the tooth wheels, which is fitted with the tooth wheels. Okay, for example, from here to here we have an arrangement like a chain or a belt like arrangement, so that if this motor rotates, then this wheel will also rotate, so that the energy will be transferred from the motor to the wheel with the help of belts. Clear? With the help of belts. Clear? So remember, the energy will be transferred from one part to another part of the engine with the help of belts. This is due to friction. Remember, if between the belt and this one, if there is less friction, always this belt will slips. Are you clear? Always this belt will slips. You can observe in floor mills also. In floor mills also, we have one motor here and we have one wheel here. Now always it is attached with the belt. If the motor rotates more, this belt causes friction. Because of that friction, this wheel will also rotates. Clear? So whenever this motor works, whenever this motor starts rotating, the belt attached with this motor will have more friction. Because of that friction, this wheel will also rotates. Clear? That wheel will also rotates. Are you clear, ma? Now remember, the energy will be transferred from one part of the engine to another parts or the other moving parts through belt. This is due to friction. So I will also write one more example. The energy or the power, the energy or power, clear, the energy or power transmitted to the movable parts, transferred to the movable parts through belts, through belt, due to friction. Clear? Due to friction. Okay, so these are the advantages of the friction. Now these are the advantages of the friction. Now I am going to discuss about disadvantages of the friction. Now I am going to discuss about disadvantages of friction. Now I am going to discuss about disadvantages of the friction. Now remember, the first disadvantage of the friction is, now due to friction, the efficiency of the engine decreases. For example, let us consider if friction is more, then the engine has to do more work. Engine has to do more work. Then its efficiency will decrease. Therefore, the efficiency of the engine decreases. The efficiency of the engine decreases. Clear? The efficiency of the engine decreases. Clear? The efficiency of the engine decreases due to friction. The efficiency of the engine decreases due to friction. So this is one disadvantage for the friction. And another disadvantage, for example, if you take the moving parts of the vehicle, for example, say a tooth wheel. So the tooth will also rotate, or whenever one tooth wheel is rotating, for example, if I take this as a tooth wheel, now remember, power or energy will be transferred from one tooth wheel to another tooth wheel with the help of friction only. Obviously, with the help of friction only, the energy will be transmitted from one tooth wheel to another tooth wheel. But if the friction is more, then if the friction is more, actually if there is no friction at all, energy won't be transferred from one tooth wheel to another tooth wheel. For example, if that friction is more, then what might happen means the movable parts of this tooth wheel may get damaged quickly, or else because of more friction there may be the tearing in the that parts or moving parts of the engine. There will be tears, there will be tearing in the engine, or else there will be more loss of, or there will be lifetime of this engine will decrease because of the friction. Clear? Lifetime of this engine will decrease because of friction. That is called as wear and tear. But remember, the wear and tear of the engine is because of what? Friction. Clear? So the wear and tear of the engine, clear, the wear and tear of the engine is due to friction. Clear? Is due to friction. Are you clear? And one more thing, due to friction, always we discuss that energy will be lost. That energy will be lost in the form of heat. Are you clear? Now I'm going to write one more advantage. Due to friction, the energy will be lost. The energy will be lost in the form of heat. Clear? Due to friction, the energy will be lost in the form of heat. Clear? So these are the advantages and disadvantages of the friction. Okay. So just now we discussed about advantages and disadvantages of the friction. So friction will be advantage for some things, and friction will be disadvantage for few things. Okay. So how to reduce the friction then? For example, if friction is a disadvantage, friction is a disadvantage, then how to reduce the friction? Now we are going to discuss that. So the next concept is methods of reducing the friction. Methods of reducing the friction. Clear? Methods of reducing the friction. The first method to reduce the friction is by polishing the surface or by smoothing the surface. For example, if there is a rough surface and if there is irregularities in the surface, just polish that surface. By polishing the surface, you can able to reduce the friction. Or else by smoothing the surface, you can able to reduce the friction. And one more method is also there by streamlining. So what do you mean by streamlining? Means, for example, if you take fast moving vehicles, or else, for example, if you take sports cars. So for example, if sports cars or aeroplanes, the body of the sports cars or aeroplanes are painted very smoothly, because this sports cars or the aeroplanes will move with a very high velocities before they take off. For example, if you take an aeroplane, before it is going to take off, it may travels with the velocity of 400 kilometers per hour. If the vehicles are moving with that much velocity, and if there is any irregularities on the or rough surfaces on the or rough surface of the aeroplane on the body, clear, if the body of the aeroplane is rough, clear, if the body of the aeroplane is rough, then because of more frictional forces, there will be more loss of energy in the form of heat. Then the entire body will get heated up. Then entire body will get heated up. Are you clear? The entire body of the aeroplane will get heated up. For example, if the surface of the aeroplane or the sports cars, if the surface of the aeroplane or sports cars is not smooth, clear, it is not smooth. If it is not smooth, and if it is having some rough surface, then whenever it is moving faster, because of that fast moving, there will be more loss of, or there will be more friction, and because of friction there will be more loss of heat energy. If there is more loss of heat energy, then what will happen means the body of this aeroplane as well as the cars will get heated up quickly. Clear? Now in order to reduce that friction losses and in order to reduce that heat losses, what we have to do means we have to paint the bodies of aeroplanes and fast moving vehicles very smoothly. The painting of the bodies of vehicles very smoothly to reduce the friction, that is called as a streamline. That is called as streamline. So by streamline also you can able to reduce the friction. Are you clear? And one more thing, to reduce the friction, the moving parts of the vehicles are fitted with the ball bearings, or the engines are fitted with the ball bearings. For example, if you fit the moving parts of the engines or the vehicles with the ball bearings, by using the ball bearings, you can able to reduce the friction. Clear? And not only this, for example, if you take tooth wheels, or else, for example, best example, to the chain of our vehicles or else cycles or bicycles, sometimes we'll apply the grease. Sometimes we'll apply the grease. If you apply the grease, then there will be less friction, then the movement of the wheel will be free. Therefore, by using grease like substance, clear, by using grease like substance, you can reduce the friction. Okay. And not only that, for example, if you observe some ads, in that ads they are using to maintain the engine with less friction, we have to use the lubricant oils. Let us say, for example, servo 2T oil or castor oil. So by using castor oil, they will tell in advertisement like this. So use castor oil for the better performance, or use the servo 2T oil for the better performance. What is that means? For example, if you take the engine, my engine will have some pistons. Clear, engine will have some pistons. Then piston will always will be in motion. For example, if there is friction, if there is friction in the engine, then because of the friction, always there will be loss of energy in the form of heat. So in order to reduce that friction, if you keep some engine oil, that engine oil will reduce the friction. Clear? So therefore, by using lubricants like grease or engine oils, we can able to reduce the friction. Clear? We can able to reduce the friction. Okay. Now I'm going to write the methods of reducing the friction. Clear? So the first method to reducing the friction is by polishing. By polishing. And the next method by smoothing. Next method by using lubricants. Clear? By using lubricants. And the next method by using ball bearings. And the next method by streamlining. By streamlining. So we can use these methods to reduce the friction. Clear? These are the methods or different methods to reduce the friction. Are you clear? Yeah. Now, next I'm going to discuss about one more concept, that is angle of friction. So, angle of friction. For example, I'll consider this as a horizontal surface. I'll consider this as a horizontal surface. And I'll consider this as a block of mass M. I'll take this as a block of mass M. Clear? I'll take this as a block of mass M and I'll take this as a horizontal surface. Now both are in contact. Clear? Now both are in contact. Now I will apply some force in this direction. I will apply some force in this direction. Now for that force, the body doesn't move. Even though I applied the force, the body still is at rest. So that is called as static friction. Clear? That is called as static friction force. Now I apply much more force, but still the body is at rest. No, still it is called a static frictional force. Now I will apply one maximum value of static friction force. For that maximum value of static frictional force, the body just starts. Clear? For the maximum value of the static friction force, the body just starts. So for the maximum static frictional force, the body just starts, then that force is called as limiting friction force. That limiting frictional force will be always in opposite direction to the applied force. So I applied the force in this direction to move the body, to just move the body, then the limiting frictional force will be in which direction? Means it is in downward, backward direction. If you apply in forward direction, then this limiting frictional force will be in backward direction. Now I'll take that limiting frictional force as, for example, F. Now remember, for example, if you take a weight of the body, that weight of the body mg is always downward direction. As we already discussed that these two bodies are in contact. If the body is in contact, surely there exists a normal reacting force. That normal reaction force is always perpendicular to the surface in contact. That normal reaction force is what? Always perpendicular to the surface in contact. Therefore, normal reaction force is in upward direction. Now these two are perpendicular to each other. Therefore, if you find out the resultant of these two, then the resultant of these two will be in one particular direction. I'll take this as the resultant of normal as well as the frictional force. Okay, so normal as well as the limiting frictional force. Now the angle between the resultant of the normal and limiting frictional force and the normal, that is taken as angle of friction. Are you clear, ma? Now what do you mean by angle of friction? Means it is the angle between, ma, it is the angle between resultant of, ma, resultant of friction or limiting friction and normal with the normal reacting force or reaction force is called as angle of friction. Clear? Is called as what, ma? Angle of friction. Okay. Now for example, if you take that r is making some angle theta, r is making some angle theta with the normal, are you clear? This normal is making, sorry, this resultant is making some angle theta with the normal, then this will becomes r cos theta and this will becomes r sin theta. Now r cos theta is in this direction, therefore r cos theta can be taken as n and r sin theta can be taken as f. Therefore you can take tan theta is equal to, okay, that is r sin theta by r cos theta, that is equal to f by n, or else theta is equal to tan inverse of f by n. Clear? Okay, ma? Or else you can take tan theta is equal to opposite by adjacent. So what is the opposite force? Means here the opposite vector is force F, so F by N. So that is the angle of friction theta. Now I am going to find out the resultant, ma. I am going to find out the resultant. That resultant can be taken like this. That resultant R is equal to square root of, I will take these two, ma. That can be taken as f square plus n square plus 2fn into cos 90. Clear? 2fn into cos 90. Then resultant r can be taken as square root of f square plus n square. Clear? Square root of f square plus n square. Now listen, ma. In this diagram, from this diagram, n is balanced by mg. N is balanced by mg. Frictional force F is taken as, for example, mu s into n, where F is called as limiting frictional force. Clear? F is called as limiting frictional force, and mu s is the coefficient of static friction. Now, if you substitute these two values in the above equation, then resultant R is equal to square root of F square mu s into n whole square plus n can be taken as what, mg whole square. Now from these two you can write square root of mu s into n can be taken as mg whole square plus mg whole square. Now take mg whole square as common. If it common and if you take out of the integration, sorry, out of the root, then square root of or mg into square root of mu s square plus 1. This is the resultant formula. Clear? This is the resultant force formula. Okay. So this is about the angle of friction. Okay. So the next concept I'm going to discuss is angle of repose. So the next concept I'm going to discuss is angle of repose. For example, I'll take this as a horizontal surface. I'll take this as a horizontal surface. I'll take this as a horizontal surface. Okay, I'll take this as a horizontal surface. And I'll take this as an inclined body or inclined plane. I'll take this as an inclined plane. Now remember, the angle between the inclined plane and the horizontal, the angle between inclined plane and horizontal, I'll take for example alpha. I'll take it as for example alpha. Now let us consider initially the inclined plane is here, and let us consider this as the block of mass m. Now for this angle of inclination, for example, I'll take the angle of inclination like this. For this angle of inclination, body still at rest because of the frictional forces. Now I will move the body up to here in this plane, or else I'll increase the angle. Now I'll increase the angle. Now this is the block of mass m. Now still the body is at rest. It is not in motion. Now I will increase the angle such that the angle will be equal to alpha for that particular angle. Clear? For that particular angle, the body on the inclined plane, clear, the body present on the inclined plane just starts to slide down the inclined plane. Clear, the body present on the inclined plane, it just started to slide down. Clear, it's just started to slide down. Are you clear? Now remember, the particular angle, clear, the particular angle with the horizontal, clear, the particular angle made by the inclined plane with the horizontal, clear, the particular angle made by the inclined plane with the horizontal such that the body just starts to slide down from the inclined plane. That angle is called as angle of repose. Okay, so what do you mean by angle of repose means? Clear? Now remember, the angle between the angle between the inclined plane and the horizontal for which the body, clear, for which the body just sliding down, just starts to slide down the inclined plane, slide down from the inclined plane. This angle is called as angle of repose. This angle is called as angle of repose. Now listen. If you consider this block of mass m, then for this block mg will be always in downward direction. Clear? Mg will be always in downward direction. Now normal must be this. So this is the plane of contact. This is the plane of contact. Now normal must be always perpendicular to the plane of contact. So this is the normal. This normal will be perpendicular to the plane of contact. Clear? This normal will be perpendicular to the plane of contact. I will take this normal as n. Clear? I will take that normal as n. So normal will be perpendicular to the plane of contact. Now listen, For example, if you consider this normal is not balanced, as we already discussed in the resolution of vectors concept. Now the weight mg will be resolved into two components. How we have to resolve means I will tell you, just listen. For example, if this is the triangle and if this angle is alpha, and the mg will be always in which direction? Downward direction. Therefore this angle is 90. This angle will becomes 90 minus alpha. Now if this mg is resolved two perpendicular components, two rectangular components, then this component will becomes mg into, I will take the trigonometric function, and this is mg into, I will take it as trigonometric function. Now remember, these two components are mutually perpendicular. So if these two components are mutually perpendicular, this angle is 90 minus alpha. So I will consider this angle as x. Therefore this total angle is 90. Therefore I will take like this 90 minus alpha plus x is equal to total angle is 90. Now cancel 90 and 90, then x is equal to alpha. Then x is equal to how much? Alpha. Therefore, if I resolve this mg into two components, this is mg and this is also mg. Now, if you consider this angle as alpha, then this angle will also be alpha. Clear? This angle will also be alpha. then this will becomes mg cos alpha and this will becomes mg sin alpha. Now, because of mg sin alpha, the body starts sliding down the inclined plane. Now, if the body starts sliding down the inclined plane, then frictional force will be in upward direction. I'll take the frictional force as F. Let us consider the body just starts to slide down. The body just starts to slide down. Then I can write mg sin alpha is equal to F. Now I'll write mg cos alpha is equal to n. Now I will take it as equation number 1 and I will take it as equation number 2. Now divide equation number 1 by equation number 2. Then this is mg sin alpha by mg cos alpha is equal to, I will take it as F by n. Now cancel mg and mg. Sin alpha cos alpha is equal to sin alpha by cos alpha equal to tan alpha. That is taken as F by n, or else alpha is equal to tan inverse of F by n. Clear? So this is taken as the angle of repose. Or else we know that frictional force F can be taken as mu s into n, where mu s is a static coefficient of static friction. Now substituted value, then alpha is equal to tan inverse of, clear, tan inverse of mu s into n by capital N. Now cancel n and n, then alpha is equal to tan inverse of mu s. Actually, if I explain this concept after the free body diagram, then you can understand this much more easily. So the next concept I'm going to discuss is free body diagram. But first, why I explain means, if you know about the frictions and all, if I explain the free body diagram, in free body diagram, I will explain with friction and without friction at once. Okay, I will explain about with friction and without friction at once. If I didn't teach the friction concept first, I have to explain about the free body diagrams without friction first, and later I have to go for the free body diagrams for with friction. So that's why please adjust for this time. So tomorrow, in the tomorrow's class, I will explain about the free body diagram. At that time, you can clearly understood how to resolve all these things. Okay? Yes. So today I'll stop up to here. Even for the offline students also, today I thought up to here. So in the next class, we'll discuss about the free body diagrams and all. Okay.